Hey, welcome to Mr. C's Lake City Middle School Introduction to Business Management class. The guy in the upper right-hand side of your screen, I'm Mr. Cadle. And of course, if you're in class with me, we've already met. And by this point, we've already gotten to our assigned seats. And now we're ready for that class introduction. And so a couple of quick notes. This is part of our CTE curriculum. In other words, CTE stands for Career Tech Education. But you're going to find out that I use a lot of the technology side of it, and we're going to integrate a lot of the technology side of it, but that's not going to be our focus because this is also career education. And so we're going to start looking at and introducing careers, business skills, so on and so forth. All right. Now, I will tell you that this class requires just a little bit different thinking than what you're used to. So it's pretty easy in here as far as doing the work, but sometimes it does take a little bit of different trains of thoughts. But I promise you, you'll pick up on it before you think you know it, all right? So don't give up, all righty? So I'm going to take a quick timeout, and I'm going to let a video take over from here. And this video was created to introduce students to the class and kind of like work as an advertisement for what I do here in the classroom. So I'm going to take a step to the side here, let the video play, and we'll catch you on the other side of the video. All right, so there you go. Remember, it is not just an elective, it's an opportunity. All right, so hopefully you could take something from this class. All right, so let's get started here with our overview. All right, so again, as I said before, if I can get my thing to move forward, there it goes. This is Introduction to Business Management and Administration. And you're going to see here that there is a difference between what administration is and what managers do and what have you. And this will also kind of integrate running your own business to a little bit of an extent. But the idea here is to understand what managers do, what managers oversee, so on and so forth. And we look at the different areas of bigger business and what have you in this classroom. All right, so we're going to be honing in on our business productivity skills. And of course, these productivity skills are also important for us as students as well, because although we are learning about business, we are still currently in the business of education, right? We're in the business of learning, right? LCMS is here because we're in the business of learning and helping you guys learn. So I hope to also pass on some skills that might help make you better students as well, because we still have a lot to learn, especially in the 7th grade. We are aimed at providing basics and informing students about future goals, future careers with business. That's what the aim is, all right? So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you're someone who likes dealing with technology and you love programming and you're interested in coding. Well, maybe studying more about business information management might be up your alley, because there's a lot of different areas in business information management. However, if you're someone who likes math and numbers and so on and so forth and statistics and figure out what the future value of something might be, you might be interested in the accounting side or the money side or the finance side of things. If you're a people person, you might be interested in human resources because you're handling the people element of a business. So those are the things that we're going to kind of look at and explore in details in this class. This is designed to provide entry-level knowledge and skills, all right, in regard to the various roles in business. I can't provide you an in-depth overview, right? In fact, a lot of the material made for even high schoolers don't get as in-depth as it can be, right? But I will tell you this, all right? I do teach at a higher level. That means you're going to learn some things that maybe other high schoolers don't know. I'm going to show you things that maybe some college kids don't know, right? And I think that you will find this really, really important and really, really interesting and really, really enlightening, you know, because you can go up to your folks and be like, hey, I learned about this today. And they're going to go like, you learned what? Right? Kind of crazy like that, right? We are going to develop soft skills or our professional skills for the workforce, right? These are called interpersonal skills, right? And these skills are also important as a student, okay? To give you an example, in a group assignment, do you take leadership roles? Do you follow but take a leadership role within the area you've been assigned? Believe it or not, those things are business-related soft skills. Are you dependable, reliable? But how is that different than being able to type a certain word a minute or being able to put something together in a set time frame, right? How is that different? We're going to look at that and explore that. This is the predecessor to business leadership. I do have business leadership for my 8th grade students. And in business leadership, we take things a little bit further. Okay, we take the concepts a little bit further, and we provide insight to what happens in the future. In other words, for your first jobs and careers and what to think about and what to look at, so on and so forth. We are working towards getting you ready for your next steps in life. And of course, for you guys, what is that? The 8th grade. And that's why we're in middle school, to prepare you for inevitably high school, who will help prepare you for the workforce or college or what have you. Me, I'm just bridging the gap here, all right? And we're going to bridge that gap together. All right, so a little bit about me. Now, the reason I do this is not to brag, because I don't like bringing attention to this guy, you know? And I don't want to do that. I want to be like the one going, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. No, that's not the point here, right? The point here is this. If I was in trouble and I had a legal battle looming in the horizon, in other words, somebody was wanting to sue me, right? Of course, you can be sued for anything, but that's a discussion for another day, right? But so like somebody wanted to sue me, all right? What would be more of a viable course of action? To go consult a lawyer or to go consult the guy behind the counter at Burger King? And of course, there's always that one student, Mr. C, what if that guy at Burger King is almost a lawyer and he's studying in college? That's marvelous. Is he practicing? Okay. So yeah, no, you're going to go study with the lawyer, right? You're going to go talk to the lawyer because you want to seek expert advice, right? So the reason I'm telling you this information here is not to brag, but to let you know that you will be learning from someone who has some experience, all right? You're getting expert advice, somebody with some real work world experience under their belt, right? So I have worked a combined 14 years in retail and professional sales, okay? Retail means you go up to the store, you buy something, or you go to a car dealership and buy a car, or what have you. I've been a sales professional 14 years. So I am big on communication because that's what sales is a communication of ideas, right? We're communicating ideas, right? And doing things to help people get what they want to have accomplished within their means, of course, right? And so with that, required a lot of study, especially about individual products and communication ideas, so on and so forth, right? I have worked, I've been hired for technical support, computer technical support, for about 5 combined years, all right? That's quite a while, okay? So I worked everything from actually on-site technical service, troubleshooting computers on-site and fixing customer computers, to over-the-phone tech support and troubleshooting, okay? So my expertise is pretty broad and pretty good, right? Now, does that mean I could unblock a game for you on our current network? I don't have those permissions. You got to have those permissions, and I don't have those permissions to do that, all right? But can I, if I wanted to? Sure, that's not a problem, all right? Not going to. All right, so I have ignited multiple business ventures and provided business planning. You're going to find out that business plans are detailed documents telling a business and telling a possible person who's wanting to invest in the business about how the business will operate over a set period of time, okay? Yeah, that's a lot to consider. It's not like lemonade stands. There's a whole complex set of issues that are out there, right? And I provided the planning for that. In fact, a lot of the business plans that I've developed with people were used to present information to either the lenders or the investors so that they could buy in on the company, all right? Pretty cool, right? So yeah, I'm kind of familiar with how various and multiple businesses operate. This says 5th year teaching the course at LCMS. We could upgrade that to 6th year, right? So I have taught this course many, 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 many times. I am very familiar with it, right? So you're ensured that you're learning from somebody who kind of knows what they're talking about, and I've covered the materials. And if something comes up, I go look it up, and if I can't give you the right answer, I'll find it out for you, or we'll find it out together. Yes, I am a Miami Hurricane. That's where I went to school. I don't want to see anybody doing those silly choppy mouth thingies or weird things where they're shooting the flies. None of that mess, right? I have a bachelor's of music in music business and entertainment. Mr. C, if you got a bachelor of music, how come you're teaching a business class? Well, look at that, music business, right? The business of music. That's what I studied in. In other words, yes, music was a part of it, but I also learned things like copyright law. And when, say, throw an artist out there, when Taylor Swift makes a CD or makes a new album, who gets paid? How do they get paid? And, how does the writer get paid different than the artist? And when they're on tour, how does that work out? And all that kind of good stuff. And what contracts are written? And yeah, that's what I studied. So I'm pretty familiar with the process, right? And I also minored in business administration. Currently, I am earning a master's degree in educational leadership. I am enrolled at St. Leo, which is the same program that Mr. Cooper went through before he became principal. And then I wanted to tell you that because you are working with a good and competent instructor who knows their stuff. All right? So just be aware of that. You can have faith that I'm just not going to make up something. It'll be good information. All right? By the way, that's one of the things I wanted to promise you too. Because of all the experience that I bring to the table, I want you to know I don't just assign busy work to keep you busy. Nope. That's not what I do, right? Everything has a rhyme, a reason, a purpose, okay? Because I've experienced it and I know what's out there and I know what's currently in demand. And a lot of those things just don't change over the years. The technology might change. How we do things might change just a little bit, right? But overall, things haven't really changed that much. All right, so I have a mission statement for this room, and a mission statement here is to let you know how I will operate my class and what I will expect from my class, all right? And to help you out with what a mission statement is something that a manager, an executive of a business would provide to either their staff or their customers and their staff to let them know how they intend to operate their business. All right, so remember that a mission is ongoing. It is long. It goes on forever and ever and ever, right? So, Mr. Cadle's mission statement for his classroom. What is my mission? To educate students on the skills and tools needed for a modern and ever-changing workforce. Okay? There you go. Pretty simple there, right? Educate you on the tools and the skills that you need for tomorrow's workforce, right? I want to enable this by providing relevant instruction, by maintaining high expectations of students, by being a role model, and by assuming that all students will grow with information, with practices and strategies needed for the real-world working environment. All right? High expectations. Yes, I do have high expectations. And in fact, I will often use a lot of high-end concepts in here, okay? But with my help and our help, we could put the things together, all right? And sometimes you'll even get free college education right here in public school in Mr. C's business lab. How cool is that, right? All right, so there you go, the mission statement. All right, school-wide lab expectations. I'm sorry that the S got cut off there, but it says lab expectations. All right, this is established from our principal, Cooper, and our other principals here on campus, right? Students who do not follow these expectations will not be allowed back in the lab. School-wide expectations are focus on learning. That's why we're in school, right? Acting responsibility, we know that. Lead by positive example, not just by example, but positive example, all right? Come to class, because if you're not in class, how can you learn, right? And we'll talk more about that later. Come to class on time. Yeah, no tardies, okay? Because tardies will not be accepted or counted at work, because once you're late, that's not good, all right? And then, of course, never bully. In other words, be respectful, right? And then show respect to others. All right, those are the school-wide expectations, all right? So as you can see there, it spells Falcons. All right. I wanted to show my 7th grade students this real quick, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but Cafe Reconcile is a restaurant that operates out of New Orleans, and they are a great restaurant. Food is always wonderful, the lighting is great, so on and so forth. And what they do is they do something unique for the community. They take people who haven't really had a steady job before, or who are trying to get back to the work world, or maybe who have no choice but to go and find a job somewhere, and they get them back to a condition where they can get to and find a regular job. So they're temporarily hired here to gain the experience, learn life skills, and then they have the option of either staying on board there or moving forward to another place of business. All right. So they developed the 8 habits of success that they make all of their employees memorize. And I want to show you this because I think you'll find there's a direct correlation between what's written here and my expectations for my classroom. All right, here we go. They say, number 1, be on time. All right. That goes without saying. Why would that be important in the workforce? Right? Be present all day, every day. And that includes not only physical presence, but mental presence as well, right? Because if you're, look, I get that bad days happen, okay? And we're in middle school and sometimes things come up and I get it, okay? And you'll find out that I'm fine with that. As long as you get your work done, okay? You'll be all right, okay? But if it's consistently happening, then we have to address it, right? So you gotta be present all day, every day. Accept and follow directions. Look, the owners of the business are in business for a reason. They know what works, right? The managers want things done a certain way. And so you got to accept and follow that. Even if the jobs and the rules isn't the best, accept and follow directions. Work well with others, even when it's difficult. That's tough, isn't it? Especially with group assignments, and here's the thing, all right? The idea of, look, I don't like you, so I'm not going to work with you, won't work in the business world, all right? Does the business world care who you like and don't like? Nope. The ultimate goal is to get your job done, right? So we're going to work well with others even when it's difficult. We're going to have a positive, not negative attitude towards work. Again, this is for Cafe Reconcile, right? But you could see that some of these things are applying to us in the real world, right? So why would you not want to have a negative attitude towards the work being done? But why would you want to have a positive attitude, right? Why is your personal appearance important in the professional work world? I mean, isn't that one of the reasons why we have a dress code here at school? That's kind of crazy, huh? Alrighty, let's see here. We also have get things done within the expected time. Don't we have due dates for a certain reason, right? And let's be honest, right? If the manager says, hey, make sure the floor is swept and mopped before you leave, what are you going to do? You're going to sweep and mop that floor, right? Because that's what this job expected of you, right? You're getting paid for it, right? Hey, how do we get paid here in school? don't you get paid with the grade? You know, kind of works like that, right? And, you know, if you don't agree with me, we'd have a conversation on that, and I can show you how that works, right? And then do a quality job at each and every task. All right, now let's keep those in mind, and let's take a look at Mr. C's expectations. All right, so here we go. Clock management. Be at your workstation, seated and working when the bell rings, all right? At your seat, at your workstation, at your computer, sit it down when the bell rings. Pretty simple there, right? And so when you come in, there might be some tasks on our projection screen that say, hey, do this, do that, what have you. If you have something to turn in, look, I get it, right? But we're going to work on and work towards getting in your workstation by the time the bell rings, okay? There's no reason to be up and around and moving around when that bell is ringing. You need to be straight to it and on task, okay? That's what's going to be expected from you in the real world. I expect that here, all right? Be respectful to everybody. That includes your peers, to yourself, and the instructor. Mr. C, why would you be respectful to yourself? Well, you won't believe this, but can you believe that students will often say, Mr. C, I can't do this. I can't do this because I'm not smart. Well, no, you're not respecting yourself, right? We all have the ability to learn and grow, right? So, be respectful to yourself, all right? Part of it is believing that you can, all right? That makes sense, right? Yeah. All right, we also have asset management. Asset is another word for property, something that holds value, okay? So we're going to treat the property in this room responsibly while using the utmost care and preventing accidental damage or distractions. So I have various things for that, like no food or drink, that kind of thing, right? And then you also got to understand that on these computer systems, everything you do is tracked. There's a record, there's document of it, right? There's a dedicated server, so everything you do, there is something that is tracking where you are, what you're doing, and there's really no way to bypass that, okay? And so there you go. So treat the property. That also means the screens, the desks, the chairs, the lights, everything else. Treat the property and prevent accidental distractions. Quality of work. Be diligent. In other words, put forth your best effort towards the work you produce, the information you absorb, and the working environment. All right? Diligence, your best effort. So your best effort is always expected, okay? And then follow directions the first time they're given. Look, I get it. We're in the 7th grade. That's going to be tough for a little bit, but we're working towards that because that's what will be expected out of you in 8th grade and, of course, in middle school. So follow directions the first time they're given. So do you see where some of these parallel the 8 habits of success, right? So hopefully you see that there. If not, if you're in class, we might review some of those correlations and those parallels there. All right, next slide here. Business and work lab basics. Here we go. All right, absolutely no food, liquids, or oral consumables. All right, so here's the deal. It has been my discovery that 7th grade students have a difficult time with liquids. So there is to be no liquids on my desk. Does that mean you can't bring in these containers in? Well, the containers are there because the water faucets have been provided for us to use for bottled water. So you can bring your bottled water in, but it has to stay on the floor. I don't want them anywhere near my computers. All right, why? Well, because water and electronics don't mix. All right, there is to be no food. All right, so this is not snack time. This is not the cafeteria. I don't care if they're chips or anything else. All right. And then oral consumables. There you go. All right. Stay seated unless instructed otherwise. That's really important. All right. If you need anything, Mr. C, all right, I get it. Raise your hand. Okay. Don't just get up and do things on your own. Okay. That's, it helps. Okay. You'll be surprised how much it helps overall in the environment and allows you to focus on learning. Does that mean we don't stand up at all? No, there'll be chances for that. All right, I promise. But again, if you need anything, just raise your hand. Look, I get it. Things happen. Somebody sneezes and covers their nose. Okay, I get it. Go take care of it. Go blow your nose. Go blow your schnoz. I get it. All right. So yeah, there you go. All right, just stay seated. Look, and if you're going to get sick, I get it. Just run out that door and go. I get it. Okay, if you're going to get sick, it happened once in my classroom before. No big deal. All right. So yeah, that's fine. All right. I do have 3 no zones or no entry zones in my classroom. All right. If we are in the class right now watching the video. I'll probably stop it or pause it here shortly, right? But I have a no entry zone in front of the projection screen and to the filing cabinet in the front of the room, okay? I have a no entry zone in the closet. You can go in there, but the door is to always be open. The lights are to be on, and that's for blowing your nose or getting a tissue or something like that, right? And then, of course, my office in the back, all right? That is a no entry zone for various reasons, all right? I won't go into details, but there you go. Mr. C, if you haven't already showed them, go ahead and show them that now, and then tell them some reasons why, too, if you want to, all right? All right, pause done. Here we go. In the event of emergency, please make sure that you grab your exit buddy. No, there's no exit buddy policy, but you get the idea, right? All right, so in case of emergencies, right? Here's what we're doing. All right, restroom breaks. When classes were shorter, I had one restroom break per semester, okay? I'm going to change that because we are together longer, okay? I'm going to do 3 emergency passes per quarter, because we're in class longer. 3 emergency passes. Now, if this is a 40 to 50 or 55-minute class, then it's going to be 1 break per quarter, okay? 1 emergency, all right? Because you got time, okay? You got time, all right? But again, if we're on block scheduling, I'll do 3. If we're on standard scheduling, I'll do 1, all right? There you go. All right, treat this opportunity as on-the-job training. That's exactly what it sounds like. You're training while on the job, right? You're learning, you're gaining that real-world experience, right? And while on-the-job training, you might get paid, right? We get paid with our grades, all right? And that's it, you know. You put the effort in, you learn, and you get the reward from doing a good job and getting a decent grade, right? And getting on good grades on the report card, all right? That's how you get paid, okay? And yeah, although it doesn't go straight into the wallet, okay, hopefully the skills that you are taking can help contribute even more to your wallet down the road, all right? So treat this like on-the-job training. All right, so what happens in the event that expectations haven't been met? Well, this doesn't happen too much, right? But usually I'll follow a process, and it's fair, okay? It's fair. I try to make it fair. And, sometimes there's a chance. Okay, so there you go, right? So the first time something happens, and if it gets out of hand or what have you, I'll make a note of it, but I'll usually have some sort of verbal warning, and I'll say, hey, this is the final warning, all right? And then if something continues to happen, the name will go on the board in the associated period, and more than likely there'll be a brief conversation between me and the person that it occurs with, all right? Then if it happens again, all right, there'll usually be some sort of writing assignment that's sent home and probably signed by the folks, okay? And if it happens again, there's going to be some sort of contact home, email or phone call, and a student action plan signed. Usually that don't happen very often, okay, because usually it's taken care of after the second or third time. Now, in the event something happens and things continue to happen, that means something is off in the classroom. We need to get somebody else involved, and that means bringing in one of the administrators, okay, one of the principals. So I'll send a referral as needed, but I usually don't write referrals. Now, with that in mind, if I do refer somebody to discipline, if it's coming from me and they know that I don't write a whole lot, they're going to take it seriously, all right, because they know how I operate my classroom. So, yeah. So when they say, ooh, who's it coming from? They're going to be like, yeah, no, I got nothing. All right, let's just do what we got to do here, right? So there you go, all right? And the names are erased after 1 week, all right? And additional writing assignments may be given as needed, okay? So there you go, all right? Pretty simple. But I imagine I probably won't have an opportunity here at Lake City Middle School to exercise this too much. All right, so what do you need to bring each day that you report here to class? Well, pretty simple. You need to bring, if you're a note taker, bring your papers, bring your writing sticks, right? Pencil, right? Pen, that kind of thing. And occasionally, I'll even give you all the questions and all the answers for big exams like the midterm and final. All you got to do is write it down physically on your own sheet of paper, right? That's cool. Okay. Everything else will be digital, right? I'm a digital classroom. I'm a digital guy, right? If you need headphones, which we do have times that we'll be using headphones in the classroom for lessons and such, bring in an inexpensive pair. They don't need to be fancy. Make sure they're wired, not wireless. These do not have Bluetooth on them, okay? So Bluetooth headphones will not work. They need to be wired in, and I'll show you how to do that. Because some lessons will be delivered via video, okay? And I won't always have it on the projection screen and what have you. That requires your mind, attention, focus, all that kind of good stuff, right? If you do not have internet access from home, flash drive, right? And of course, you know that your Google students can be accessed anywhere that there's an internet connection. I shouldn't have to go into that in too much detail here in modern times, right? And of course, remember, this is on-the-job training. All right, so how do I grade? Oops, I've been meaning to correct that, and I didn't do that. So the year's a little bit off, right? But this is how I do grading every year. So it doesn't matter if it's 2016 to 2017 or 2020 to 2021, right? It's the same all time, right? So classwork. Classwork is the stuff that we'll do in class together or we'll assign in the class to do together, right? Participation. Are you generally partaking in participation, quizzes, that sort of thing, right? All of those get grouped into the 50% category, and that also includes our bell ringers, okay? So classwork, participation, quiz, bell ringers, all part of participation, okay? And that's 50%. Tests, projects make up the other 50%. Mr. C, what's the difference between a quiz and a test? Well, tests usually are more intense and require more solid knowledge of the subject, right? So I count those differently. Quizzes, quizzes are just a little bit easier, a little bit lighter, right? And they, again, count towards just general classwork because that's the information that's kind of covered, all right? So in other words, 50% for participation, 50% for tests and projects equals 100% of your effort, all right? So if you get a bad grade, it's not Mr. C's fault, right? It's what was put in, your effort, right? You determine that, okay? You're the one who ultimately controls the grades that you receive and the work that gets turned in. Nobody else, right? So I'll be honest, no one has perished from taking my class, all right? And, I'm not this big evil guy, right? If you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z, I'm not the big evil mad Saiyan there, right? And I always tell you, well, if it doesn't kill you, chances are it makes you stronger, right? A little bit of Mr. C's humor right there, all right? So honestly, though, let's work together, okay? Because group of peanuts working with the main minion, we can be successful. Alrighty, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and stop the vid. And if there are any questions, I'll let Mr. C take over for Mr. C right now.